Are you curious how real estate agents make money? Well, that's coming up next.
Your trusted real estate source, one video at a time.
Hello everybody, what's going on? Alex back here for another video. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to welcome you. This whole channel is designed around real estate. So if you're interested in learning more about real estate, think about hitting that subscribe button down there. In this video, I'm going to shed some light on how I make money as a real estate agent and how you can do the same. And I'll just break down the simple structure of how I get paid. Now on to the video. So the first thing that I want to cover is that real estate agents are 100% commission, right? What this means is I only get paid when I sell a house. So it's 100% a volume driven business. Because of that, I'm a freelancer, I'm self-employed, I pay on a 1099. So whatever my 1099 shows at the end of the year is what I made, and it can fluctuate year to year dramatically. Because of this, being a real estate agent requires a lot of self-motivation, setting your schedule because you're your own boss. You have no one telling you to show up at the office. Once you get your real estate license and pass that final exam and you go work for a certain company, no one tells you what to do, how to do it. You need to be your own boss and on top of everything. Now, the reward of connecting a buyer with a house can have a great reward to it. So I'll give you an example. And a normal sale side is 3% and a normal list side is 3%. So for example, say you sold a $500,000 house at a 3% commission. Once that house closes, which would be probably about 30 days to wait for that paycheck, it would be a $15,000 paycheck. Now, what people don't realize, out of that paycheck, you're gonna have to pay a state tax, which is 1.5%. And then you're gonna have to pay a transaction coordinator if you're using that on a transaction fee. For me, it's $100 to $200 a deal. And then on top of that, you're gonna need to pay your company cap. Now, what your company cap is, it is the amount you need to pay your company before you keep 100% of your commission. Now, a cap could range from $20,000 to $27,000 to $30,000 for the whole year, and you can do different splits. So you could do a 70-30 split where you keep 70% of the commission. You could do a 60-40 split, you keep 60%, or a 50-50 split. Now, if you're still confused about cap rate, I'll give you a quick example. So say your cap with a real estate company, say you go work for Windermere or Compass, is $30,000, and you have a 50-50 split until $30,000. So say you start working for Compass today, and say you connect two buyers with $2 million properties and they both have a 3% commission. So on the sale of both of those homes, you would make $30,000. So in total, you'd make $60,000. But what you need to remember is on that first $30,000, 50% of it goes to the company. So $15,000 goes to the company. And on the second check, $15,000 goes to the company. So now you're left with $30,000 in your pocket, minus those other expenses I touched on, like the state tax and other fees associated with the deal. And then from there, you would keep 100% of every commission for the rest of the year until your cap resets. Now, not all companies use a cap. Some companies use what's called a desk fee, and this is a monthly fee. I've seen these fees range from $1,500 to $2,000 and even upward of $2,000 a month, depending on where you're working out of and what the average home sells for. Now, a quick recap to what I've already touched on in this video is real estate agents are self-employed, meaning that you do not know when your next paycheck will be. It's totally dependent on you selling houses, which means that you need to set a schedule, you need to go out and meet new people that either want to buy or sell, and then you need to connect them with the house. And this process can take anywhere from a year, it could take a month, you could have those quick deals, but all I'm trying to say is that it's totally dependent on you selling houses. And then for the amount of money you make on each deal, a normal commission is 3% on each side. So if you were to represent a seller, it would be 3%. So if you sold a $500,000 house, it would be $15,000. If you brought a buyer to a $500,000 house, it would be $15,000. And there's a possibility that if you're a listing agent and representing the seller, and if a buyer comes in without an agent, you could actually represent both sides and get a total of 6%. Great, so now that you have a brief understanding of how I get paid, just keep in mind that commissions are totally negotiable and it could change from deal to deal, right? You could get maybe 2.5% or maybe 2% on the deal. And remember, the higher sale price, normally you will not get 3% on $1 million up. It's probably around 2.5%, even higher, it's probably more like 2%. So keep that in mind. So before I end this video, I want to touch on what do you do once you get your real estate license, and I'll do a more further in-depth video at a later date. But just for purposes of this video, what you do is you're gonna have that piece of paper. Now you wanna go look for a reputable company, right? So we're talking about like a Windermere, a Compass, a John L. Scott, a Keller Williams, and you wanna go into those offices, okay, and interview with the managing broker and see what their cap is. How much money do you need to pay that company? Now, besides the money, you also want to see the support staff do they have, right? Do they provide marketing to you? Do they provide free flyers, or do you have to do all that yourself? Working for a reputable company will help you tremendously when you first start off as a real estate agent, because when you start meeting clients, that just clears their mind already that, hey, you work for a company that's been around for a long time, he must know what he is doing. Now that you picked out the office you want to work for, it's as simple as you need to start looking for people that want to buy or sell a house. No one is going to tell you to go out and do the work. No one's going to tell you to wake up at 6 in the morning. No one's gonna tell you to be at the office 5 days a week. You're your own boss, so you need to set your own schedule. Now, the best place to look for your first deal is called your sphere of influence. Now, this is people that are closest to you, right? So family members, close friends. You have to remember, your family members know friends of friends of friends that might want to buy. So when you first get your real estate license, you need to reach out to all these people and say, hey, I just got my real estate license. Do you know anyone that wants to buy or sell a house? And I guarantee you, you might run across 1 or 2 people that are interested, and at least you can get your foot in the door and start getting some experience. There you guys have it. Hopefully you have a brief understanding of how I get paid as a real estate agent, you know, how working for a company works, how you could possibly get your first clients. Like I said, I'm going to touch on this in future videos and go more in depth about prospecting, how to get leads, but for purposes of this video, I'm going to end it there. So stay tuned for the 3 videos coming next week. As always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you then. Peace.